Today's video is all about being influenced by other people on social media because I have been influenced quite a bit when it came to today's picks and today's prompt. Hello friends, happy Wednesday. So very excited that you're here. It is Top 5 Wednesday, and as you guys know, we have all of the fun on Top 5 Wednesday, sharing about different manga, and that's exactly what I'm definitely going to be doing today. But in case if you're not familiar with Top 5 Wednesday, in a nutshell, basically each week I answer a prompt using 5 books, but in this case I do manga to reflect the said prompt. And today's prompt is books you've recently seen recommended on social media. We all see recommendations all over the place. We could be out and about at the bookstore, we could be browsing on like social media, scrolling on social media, we could be looking at blogs, YouTube channels. I mean, the list is endless of where we can see book recommendations. So today I'm talking about 5 book recommendations that I have seen given online and sharing, did I pick them up or did I not pick them up? Why or why not kind of thing. I had a blast with this prompt. I purposely was looking on social media a few days ago and I'm like, let me go find recommendations. Give them to me, and there are just so many. Like, I feel like when you're purposely looking for it, it was like, wow, this is a tad bit overwhelming. Like, there's just so much that's out there, so much that's being recommended. I feel like typically, you know, if you're not purposely looking for it and you're not necessarily always reading like the full captions or you're just looking at the pictures, you know, it doesn't seem so in your face for a recommendation, but all of these definitely were more in my face, and so not a bad thing. But we'll go ahead and start off with number 1. It's actually a manhwa, and this was actually recommended to me on the Otaku Tuesday live stream. Here's the link if you want to check it out. It's on Kerry's Nerdy Girl Creates channel. We were talking about manga and manhwa that we've recently read, and Kerry gave the recommendation for 7 Fates. This is a manhwa that I believe is low-key inspired by the members of BTS. I've been seeing a lot of different people who have been sharing about this manga, recommending this manga, or manhwa, and I point blank just asked Kerry, I was like, Kerry, would you recommend this story to me? She thought for a minute and she said yes. Yes, I would. And shout out to Marg at Marg Reads Manga, because we did a manga swap and she actually sent me the manhwa, and I'm very, very excited to read it. I did try before we did the swap, I did try it on Webtoons, and I didn't even make it past the preview, and I was like, this is really good. I'm very, very curious. So we went through with the swap, very, very excited for it to arrive. I don't know when it's coming, but I definitely plan to read it and review it because I'm just very curious to read more about this series. It's very different, I feel like, than what I usually read for manhwa, which is typically romance, romance and villainous. But this one, it seems it's like high action. It gave me a little bit of solo leveling vibes, so I'm really, really excited because I've actually been very curious about solo leveling, I can say that, and I feel like this could be a great gateway. So yeah, I've said I'm excited 3 times, but I really, really am. For number 2, this manga recommendation I saw, I think right around the time I was looking for recommendations when it came for this video, and that is Laughing Under the Clouds. This was a recommendation by KK-chan is a Girl on Instagram. She is on YouTube as well. I'll leave a link to her channel here, but I saw her unpacking or like unboxing this series. She had bought the whole thing from Tokyo Pop, and she gushed how it's one of her favorites. Like, she's like, if you like Yone of the Dawn, you will probably like this. From what I've read in this first volume, it doesn't have any romance, though I'm gonna say right now, this was a little bit weird, not the story itself. Now, we've all read, I'm sure, or probably anyway, manga that have side stories that aren't necessarily, or short stories that aren't necessarily related to the main series. This was the case for volume 1 of Laughing Under the Clouds. But do you see this? You're gonna think, well, this is the chunk of the story. You know, this is volume 1. No, this right here is volume 1. And this is a side story. I didn't read this. And I know that the creator says right here at this note that this was like the story she wrote before she wrote this series. And it takes place, 600 years before this volume. And I was like, I should read it, but I just didn't do it. I just didn't do it because I don't know. I don't always like reading the side stories, and it takes a lot for me to read them if they're not directly related to things that happen in the main story. Like if they, for an example, if it was sort of like, what is it called, a 4-coma, where they have like the 4 manga panels and it's supposed to be something that's funny, I will definitely read those. Or if it's like an inside look at a scene that happened in the volume, I will read those. But typically, if it's just not related, I just don't. Just don't. I feel bad. But I loved this first part of the series, like volume 1. Super good. Super good. It was so good. In fact, when my family and I went out for one of my kiddos' birthday, my husband said we could stop by the bookstore. I found volume 2 used and went ahead and picked it up. I have read, I think, some of this one, not straight through per se, but I really love the brothers, and this was a wonderful recommendation. I don't know if I would say it's similar to Yona. It didn't give me quite those same vibes. I'm trying to think of a manga that I can compare it to. At first, I sort of low-key thought of Kenshin, but I have not read Kenshin, and it's been a really long time since I saw the original anime. I didn't watch the reboot, but that's like the only samurai thing that's like blatantly that came to mind, but I don't feel the series are similar at all. But I like this one because it's about 3 different brothers. They all have very different personalities, and it's very interesting seeing them work together or not work together and how things just sort of unfolded in this first volume. Very curious about the rest of the series. I think it's only 5 volumes. It does have an anime, I believe it popped up when I was looking for other volumes. I think it came up on like Crunchyroll. I definitely plan to keep reading more of this, and we'll have a review at some point, but I told myself don't binge buy the volumes because anytime I go and binge buy a series, I don't read it for a year. I don't know why this is, but when I did my video from last week talking about stats, series that I read, series that I dropped, the ones that I binge bought and wanted to read, I don't think I necessarily read. And if I did read, I didn't really like it. So not for all of them, but some of them. And so I was like, we're not doing that this year. Skip Beat was my last one. We're not doing any more past that. Like, nope, that's it. So I told myself, pace yourself. I really liked volume 1. This is the library copy, but I do have the like volume coming here too as well, because I was like, I want the first volume because that's how much I really enjoyed. So I'm very thankful for this recommendation. Definitely plan to keep reading more. For number 3, this manga, I remember when it first came out and I was like, I should get it, but I didn't. And I don't know why, but that is Unnamed Memory. I was seeing the recent Reader's Corner, which we do at Beneath the Tangles. That's a website I blog for. I'll leave a link down below. Definitely check them out. They're super great. I really love the Reader's Corner because it's just reviews from a variety of writers on the team and sharing their thoughts. And Tweak has been reading Unnamed Memory, which does have a light novel and an anime that's going to be coming soon. So I remember being super curious about volume 1, and he did a review, I believe it was for volume 3. I think volume 3 just recently released. I was curious about it because it's a fantasy story. This woman is a witch who lives up in a tower, and she's sort of waiting for her Prince Charming to arrive and help free her. But when the prince comes, or the knight shine armor, I should say, the knight shine armor is probably more accurate than a prince, because I don't think the guy's a prince. I think he's just a knight. But when he comes, he's asking her to lift a curse that has been placed on him where he cannot have an heir, and he wants to get rid of that curse. And it sort of seems the only way that she can, possibly, I guess, is by them marrying. And so I thought this story was more gonna be romantic focused, but when I've seen the reviews, it doesn't seem to be. And when he left his review of volume 3, yes, I did read it because I was like, I don't mind getting spoilers for a series that I'm really curious on, because sometimes the spoilers will push me over to actually pick it up. And he said that the romance has been slow going, but not in a bad way. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I think with knowing this knowledge, I think I would enjoy it. I want to pick it up. I need to see if my library has it because I don't know many people who are reading this series. The only other person I know who's a big fan of it is my friend Selwan. I think she was one of the people who actually might put the series originally on my radar. I think she's reading the light novels and the manga, I think. But Tweak, yeah, Beneath the Tangles, has been reading it, and he definitely recommended it because I asked him point blank as well. I was like, would you recommend this to me? And he's like, yeah, I would. It's really nice. It's a good story. And I'm like, don't go buy it, Laura. Don't wait. Or don't, so don't wait. That's what I was gonna say. In my brain, I'm thinking, you need to wait, but I don't want to wait to go get it. I want to get it right away. And I know a huge influence of that is because knowing that friends like Tweak and so on that they enjoy, but also that the anime is coming up, and I I like reading the manga before I see an anime, because like a friend of mine said, when she sees the anime first, the manga is just not quite as exciting. I have to wait like a year's worth of time before I can go back and actually read the manga. And that's been very true for me as well. So I need to see if my library has it, because it is one that I do want to pick up. For number 4, there's a little bit of history behind this one, and I am saying Shugo Chara. My friend Glitterum, I am blanking on her first name. Why is it? Does anybody else have the problem where like you know who they are, you're friends with the YouTuber, but you just have the YouTuber name stuck in your head? And I'm like, I know that's not your name. Even when I've learned some of my MangaTube friends' name, I'm like, you're still your username name, because that's just what I've like associated with you in my head. Anyway, that was random. Glitterum, she's amazing. Definitely go check out her channel. I love her channel. It's very aesthetic and very fun. But she shared recently that she was reading Shugo Chara. Don't remember what volume it was, but actually earlier this month, I'm on a Discord channel and I was just goofing around, being a goofy goober, and somebody had shared in, I forgot what it is because I have since unfollowed it so I would not be tempted anymore. But basically somebody was at Second and Charles and they shared, hey, does anybody want anything? And I was looking at the photos. They had almost the entire series of Shugo Chara for like $50 to $60. And I was tempted. I mean, but the thing is, before I went and was like, I'm gonna get this, I talked to like 4 different people who I consider to be my accountability partners. I was like, I really don't know if I should get this, but I want to get this. And I'm glad I didn't. At the time, I was really glad, because I was like, you know, the series has been on my radar for a long time, but I'm like, I really just don't want to jump at this right now. I want to jump at it, but at the same time, I don't. And then I saw Glitterum's Instagram post, and it's so pretty. Here's a photo of it. And I was like, I really want to read it, but my library does have this manga. I know, I looked it up. And it's funny because when I went to Second and Charles this past weekend, I too was looking to see if I could find Shugo Chara. But I really want to read this. I feel it's a very fun recommendation because I've heard really great things. I mean, I have heard there's a few problematic things, but I don't know necessarily what they are. But I know it's a magical girl manga and anime, and that this girl, when I read the beginning, she's so funny. Like, I feel like most magical girl manga and anime, when you meet the main group of characters, especially like when I think of like Magic Knight, Ray Earth, I guess Usagi from Sailor Moon, she's a crybaby and she doesn't want to do homework and stuff, but I feel like overall that these characters are very sweet, very enduring, they're very relatable, and I feel like the main girl, Shugo Chara, is relatable, but she is sort of like a punk rock kind of girl, and I feel like she had this completely different vibe about herself presented in this magical girl manga that I haven't seen elsewhere, and I was very curious about that, and I reached out to Glitterum and was like, would you recommend this? I'm like, I'm pretty sure in your post you're giving a recommendation, but I need to know so I could feature it in this video. And she said yes. She's like, I should have read it sooner. And I honestly feel like that is going to be me when I finally read this, because I feel like it's just so popular and so iconic and so well loved, and it feels like it's just rightfully deserved. It seems so fun. It seems so fun. So I have not picked it up, but only because I know my library has it. But seeing Glitterum share about it and her enjoying the series, man, it went back on my TBR that I need to go pick this up. And I actually think that this is one of the manga that was recommended to be put on that list that during Christmas last year, the 25 Days of Shoujo, where I mentioned, put a recommendation, I'll put that on my list of titles that will be up for voting that I could read this year. And I'm pretty sure Shugo Chara is on that list. So if you want to definitely make sure that I read Shugo Chara, please stay tuned for May, where you can vote for it and then push it to the final round, because it'll be 3 rounds, so that I will definitely read and review it on this channel. Because, you know, sometimes you get like, time gets away, new stuff comes out, and you're like, I want this, and you know, all the shiny things, but I'm like, I really want to read this. This seems like a fun and great recommendation. For number 5, this is another manga that I was influenced and I picked it up, and that is The Prince is in the Villainesss Way. I got this recommendation from Zoe. I think it's Ms. Manga Picks, I believe, and I'm going to put everybody's links down below if that has influenced me, and share the post that I saw to get the inspiration for these picks. But I saw her share about the digital volume. I was very, very curious, and she actually helped me to set up a Hoopla account, because we were like, well, maybe you could read it through there, because I said I was on the fence of picking this up physically, though the cover and the art is absolutely stunning. And I did actually read probably a quarter of this. I read about this much and I liked it, but I was in a really weird reading funk at the time that I was starting it. And I said, okay, I was like, let's just put it down because I love the art and I really like the characters so far. The main girl is really interesting and I really love how this has like a different twist for the villainous genre and its own unique spin on it, I should say, because she realizes that she is been reincarnated as a different princess, and in her past life she was actually taken out by this man here. And so now that she's come back as a new princess, as a new person, she wants to help protect this new princess that she used to be. Hopefully that makes sense. And he's sort of in the way of her getting to in the position to help protect that princess so that this guy won't do the same thing that he did in her lifetime, or well, past lifetime, you know, before she was reincarnated. I've enjoyed it, and I'm just disappointed that I was in a reading funk when I started this. I feel like I'm out of that reading funk since that time because I just read Yusatoki Rhetoric yesterday. I absolutely loved it. It was so good. I feel like since I'm back on the reading hype train again, that I can start this and not feel like I'm just not getting invested, but it's not the book's fault. So hopefully that comes across really well, and hopefully I can share an actual review or, you know, some thoughts on it this upcoming Friday in my reading wrap up if I get this read in time. But the art's gorgeous, and it was definitely very much because of Zoe that I picked this up, that I finally was like, you know what, we're gonna do it. This wasn't officially on my list of pickups, but here we are. And it's sort of sad because I actually got this surprisingly very early. I don't know why it was shipped really early, but again, Zoe influenced me. It's been very good so far, even if my mood was weird. I feel like when I think of how great it is, it's the art that comes to mind that is the most beautiful part, and very much looking forward to diving in fully into this volume. For my honorable mention, I'm going to be doing another manhwa, and that is The Business Proposal. So my friend Darcy takes some of the most beautiful pictures on Instagram, and I'm going to leave it here of the volume that she did a photo of. She gushed about how great it is, and so I found myself on Amazon a few days ago looking to see should I get The Business Proposal, because I'll be honest, maybe I shared about it in a past reading wrap-up video, I don't know. I tried this series and I could not get into it, but I know I have mentioned it, I don't think you could see it over here, but I started it at the same, no, I started it when I finished What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, and I loved What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. I thought it was absolutely amazing, and the series are very similar in that I feel like they have the same rom-com office setting and such, misunderstandings going on, but The Business Proposal is much more humorous than I think What's Wrong with Secretary Kim is. So I saw her recommendation, and yeah, like I found myself being on Amazon, and I said, whoa, the whole series is on sale, and I said, you should pick it up, and I said, whoa, you know, not trying to binge buy, but I did read all of the previews for each volume, and yeah, I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted about picking it back up, not because it was bad, but because it was really good. It was really funny, and I really enjoyed what I read, and I think because I don't have What's Wrong with Secretary Kim like super fresh in my brain. I mean, I did recently read volume 3, but it's not so like blaringly in my face compared to when I read the whole series of What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, because I binge read that on what, Tappy Tune, one of those websites. I read it on there, or apps I mean. So yeah, this was one that I saw on social media, got the recommendation, want to pick it up. I don't think my library has this one, but I'm very hesitant to pick it up just because I know it's going to cost a lot to get these 4 volumes that I don't have, but it looks like it would be worth it, that it'd be a fun time, and me and Darcy have a lot of similar, I think we have a lot of similar reading tastes. If not, the series that we both love together, we really, really love, and I really enjoy gushing with her, and I feel like this would be another series that we would definitely do that. So to be determined if I pick it up, if I could find the series on even better deals, then yeah, I probably would definitely pick it up. But those are all my picks for this week. I really enjoyed sharing about these manga. I feel like it's fun for me to share how other people influence me, and hopefully not me just influencing other people. Like, yeah, I get influenced pretty easily too. Cover love is definitely a thing with some of these, and just in general. But I would love to hear from you, friends. What are some manga or books that recently you saw on social media and you're like, I want that because of that friend's recommendation or that person's recommendation? Did you decide to pick it up because of that recommendation? I would love to hear from you. Let me know down below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!